Hello and welcome to Chaos to Clarity, the podcast that's your compass to navigate the exciting world of service-based businesses. If you're a determined woman in your current business adventure, striving to conquer the chaos and build your empire, then you are in the right place. I'm your host, Maggie, your go-to business bestie and chaos navigator. I've spent nearly 2 decades in the service-based industry, building a photography business, a yoga studio, and now a thriving coaching practice. I've cracked the code to consistent income without all the chaos and noise. So get ready to increase your business growth, connect with your ideal clients, and find ease in both business and in life. It's time to turn your frustrations into inspiration and your chaos into clarity. So go ahead and grab your coffee, a pen and paper, and let's dive into the journey of building your dream service-based business together. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. My name is Maggie. I'm your business bestie and your Chaos to Clarity business coach. And today we are talking about how to come back from a break without feeling like your business has crumbled to the ground. And for all of my mom entrepreneurs out there, for anyone who is multi-passionate, who is creative, and I mean, really just any woman entrepreneur, let me just tell you that coming back from a break, whether it's the weekend or a longer vacation or the holidays, or maybe your kids are sick, maybe you're sick, you're coming back and you're like, yes, I'm going to get after it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to whoo, so excited. And then you sit down to do the work and you're like, I am overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed and I don't know if I can handle this. Does anyone else feel me on that? So recently I was having a conversation with a friend and we were talking about the holidays. And so this question came up as we were talking about the holidays and just kind of reminiscing on oh, this is what happened. Here's what we did, this, that, and the other thing. And my friend said to me, okay, well, it sounds like you had a lot of life happening during November and December. How did you come back from that? And how did you navigate that season of life in your business? And first and foremost, I just want to say that I don't know how. It is the end of January right now. Okay. I feel like the last few months have just been crazy, filled with all kinds of good things. Some ups, some downs, but just life in general, right? Where it was oh, okay, here's this thing that's happening. A kid is sick. I am sick. We are sick. Here, these people are coming over for the holidays. It's birthday season. It's just all the things, right? So she was how do you manage that? And she doesn't have kids, right? And this is not a dig at anyone. But she was asking me how do you manage that with 2 extra human beings in your life, right? You are responsible for these 2 little people and yourself and you're married, right? And so this family unit, how do you handle that? And it was such an interesting conversation. And I said, you know what? Some of it, most of it is really having a plan, but also being willing to ebb and flow in that plan, right? And having success or action items that you can do daily. It's kind of that minimum amount of work that you're going to put in, because you can't just totally set a business down and walk away and do all the other life things. Although you can, don't get me wrong, you totally can. But it might not work out in the end like you want it to. So what we were talking about was kind of 3 tips for staying in action. And that's really what came out of this conversation was my top 3 tips for staying in action in your business when it's a busy life season, maybe when you're taking a break, when you want to go on a vacation, or, like you really need to and or want to step away from your business, right? Like, how do you navigate the chaos of like, okay, I'm going to set things down and then come back and not feel like a doubled or tripled or even 10x amount of chaos and anxiety in your business. So number one, my number one tip for coming back from a break, whether that is a short break or a long break, is to just get everything out of your mind that's on your mind. So grabbing a journal and just writing down all the things, right? And I feel like once you can pull out that information, those to-do lists, those things that have been living rent-free in your brain, getting those onto paper, whether that is like physically picking up a pen and writing it on an actual piece of paper, or, grabbing your notes app and just writing down everything, right? Because then once you have it all written down, you can go through that and you can kind of start to check things off or delete things and, understand, okay, here is kind of where my brain is at. And here is where I want to go. Now, for an extended time away, right? Now, I would consider November and December, and even I would say most of January, I spent away from my business, as in away in a means of like I had a lot of other life things happening, right? Like I said, November and December, lots of birthdays, lots of holidays here in the US. And then in January, we took a vacation, a week-long vacation with some friends, with some family friends of ours. So 8 of us, 4 kids, 4 adults, we went on vacation. And when that vacation came up, leading up to that, I felt so much anxiety. I felt so much guilt about what was happening or not happening in my business. And that's what my friend and I were talking about, right? Like, how do I navigate that chaos? How do I help clients navigate that chaos of knowing that you want to be working, but also knowing that you want to be like fully invested in whatever the other thing is that you're doing? And like I said, out of this conversation kind of came these 3 tips for staying in action without burnout, without anxiety, without having that deep guilt. And so number 1 is, writing down all of those things that are on your mind. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if they make sense. It doesn't matter if you feel one way or another about them. Just writing, getting everything out, and allowing yourself the peace of mind to just let it flow out. Because when you can let that stuff flow out, when you bring those garbage thoughts out, then you can sort through them and say, okay, this thought of I'm never going to sign another client again because I'm taking a week-long vacation in January is not true. That's not true. So how can we reframe that thought so that it's more productive? And by more productive, I mean, how can I shift what I'm thinking, right? So I'm not going to sign any clients in January because of this thing, right? What if I thought about it in this way? I'm setting myself up to book more clients because I'm taking a break and I'm nourishing my body right now. I'm nourishing my mind. I'm connecting with my family, with some of my closest friends. And I'm getting a deeper relationship with them in order to show up more fully when I come back online. That feels so different, right? Than saying, oh my gosh, I'm never going to do XYZ again. So write down all the things. Go back and read those things that you wrote down. And humans are just judgy by nature, right? So how can you look at those things that you wrote down and kind of just go through the list and say, okay, this thought is not productive. How can I shift this thought from chaos into clarity? Right? If I'm having the thought, I'm never going to sign clients again, well, then no, you're not ever going to sign, right? You're not going to sign clients if you think that way, because what you think comes true, right? What you think attracts more of what you think. So if I want to be in alignment with bringing on more clients, what thoughts do I need to think there? What thoughts do I want to think? Where do I want my brain to go? And I was listening to a podcast earlier today before I recorded this that was talking about really utilizing your thoughts like the TikTok algorithm. And if you're not on TikTok, the algorithm is super sensitive. And listen, I don't care what you think about TikTok. I really don't. I love TikTok for the entertainment factor. But what this creator said was so profound to me, and it resonated so much. When you think, so the TikTok algorithm is very sensitive. Chances are you watch one video on one topic, and that is all you'll see. So, like, case in point, so many people all of a sudden started talking about North Sea TikTok, right? They were seeing all these TikToks about North Sea because why? One TikTok probably came up on their feed and they watched a certain amount of it. So TikTok started just mass sending them more videos of the North Sea. So your thoughts are so similar to that, right? You have this little teeny itty bitty thought of, oh, I don't think it's possible for me to do this. Or what if it's not possible for me to accomplish signing one client this month? Well, your brain is going to attract that, right? It's the same thing like when you're buying a car and you're like, oh, I want a little blue sports car. And now all you see are little blue sports cars, right? Everybody has them. So again, top tips for staying in action here, right? Number 1, write down all the things that are on your brain. Write them down. Number 2, go through those things. Go through those things, cross out the things that no longer serve you, rewrite the things so that they will start serving you, right? So it is possible for me to sign one client this month. It is possible for me to have 10 conversations with people. It's possible for me to have 10 opportunities to give my offer to people. Whether that's an offer to join my Facebook group or to get on my email list or to buy my high ticket program. It is possible. What is possible? Step into that possibility. And my third tip for staying in action is really to literally get in action. If you feel stagnant, literally get up, have a 30-second dance party. Put on your favorite music that you love to dance to and literally dance like no one is watching. Close your eyes, move your body. I tell people this in yoga all the time, especially in the beginning of class where it's like, if you're new, right? Or if you're not used to the way I teach, close your eyes and move your body. Move your body. No one is watching. I promise nobody is watching. Nobody cares what you look like. Tune into you. Right? So the same thing applies here. How can you tune more into you? Have a dance party. Move the thoughts, move your body, move the energy in your body. And that is going to allow for more of the energy that you want, right? That more productive, that more action taking, that more like, I'm not so focused on my anxiety coming in. It's going to bring more of that in. How do I know? Because these are things that I do. Okay. So when my friend asked me, like, how do you come back from a break in your business without feeling like your business has crumbled down or without feeling so much anxiety and overwhelm, right? I'm not immune to anxiety and overwhelm in my business. I am also not immune to my thoughts starting to take over into that like North Sea TikTok of like, oh, is this going to work? Right? I'm not immune to that. I have those thoughts too. And this is how I work through those thoughts is by writing the things down, looking at my thoughts as they are coming out of my brain and saying, okay, This is a garbage thought, not productive. Like, also LOL at some of the things that I actually think. I've joked with my husband before about saying if someone like literally were if my brain, the things that I think in my head, if they were like on a billboard or a megaphone, like if I were actually speaking some of those things, it would be hilarious. It would be hilarious. So again, write them down, go through them, talk through them, speak them out loud, right? And then you start to hear like, oh, that sounds ridiculous. That is not a productive thought. How can we shift that? How can we change and shift and mold into something that is better fit for us right now? Okay, so we've written them down, we've gone through them, and we're having a dance party so that now we can go in and take action, right? And start small with the action, right? Have the dance party, feel good, get those good endorphins flowing, sit down and do a 5-minute task or a 10-minute task, right? Set your timer and go, okay, I'm going to write one post right now. And I'm going to post it on my Instagram, on my Facebook, on my TikTok, Twitter. I don't care where. I'm going to send this super quick, fast, easy to read email out. And I'm going to feel great because I've gotten something done. I've taken action, right? So once you start taking action, it becomes easier to take more action, right? So you've got your 5-minute timer, 10-minute timer. You've done that task. Now you can cross it off your list. I love being able to cross things off a list. And then you can move on to the next thing. Okay, I've put a post out there. I've gotten a piece of content out there. Okay, second step. Who can I engage with? How can I engage with them? What posts do I want to see more on my feed? What thoughts do I want to think more in my head? How can I bring more of that into my world? Where are the conversations coming from? Can I go through my Facebook Messenger and start to look through some of the old messages that maybe I've missed and go back and say, hey, hi, how are you? I thought about you today, and I just wanted to let you know that I've seen your post. I think it's great. I love what you're talking about. I'd love to hear what's new with you, right? And restarting some of those conversations to ignite more leads, okay? So now we've gone from like, how do I get back into my business from a break into like lead generation? And it can be that quick. The shift can be that fluid. Don't be afraid of taking these action steps. Let that action be messy, right? The first time you walked, I promise, you didn't just get up and walk and never fall, right? Every child who stands is going to fall. Every child who stands is probably also going to walk, right? But just know that it is possible for you to take these actions. It's okay if it's messy. Chances are nobody else knows. Nobody else knows that it's a messy action. It feels messy for you until you start to do it more, right? Until you start to get into that repetition. So those are my 3 steps, 3 tips for staying in action when you're feeling burnt out because you went on a break. You lived your life, right? Like things happen in life and our business is meant to support our life, not the other way around. So go write down all those crazy thoughts in your head. Go through all those crazy thoughts, cross them off, rewrite some of them, give your brain something different to think. And if you're having trouble figuring out how to rewrite some of those thoughts in a productive way, get in my inbox, right? Send me a DM. Send me a DM. Let me know you've listened to this. Let me know you need some help. Let's hop on a call. And I would absolutely love to go through some of this with you and give you support and do the things that will really, really help you step into that next step of action. That's what we're looking for, right? You're clearing out the garbage so that you can take an action step. So let me know how this all lands. As always, please rate, review, listen, share, like all the things. I hope to connect with you in my inbox on Instagram at Maggie Lynn Coaching. I will talk to you soon. I hope you have the best day ever.